In this video, we'll explore 5 more harrowing stories of kayakers whose journeys took tragic turns. These are not your typical paddling mishaps. These incidents are shrouded in mystery and tragedy, leaving us to ponder the dangers of the waters. Join us as we uncover the unsettling truths behind some of the most disturbing kayaker deaths ever recorded. It was a day like any other in the terrain of Idaho's wilderness, where adventure and danger often go hand in hand. Jim Grossman, a 56-year-old world-class whitewater kayaker from Sun Valley, was known for his fearless spirit and love for the rushing rivers that carved their way through the landscape. His passion for kayaking ran deep, as did his dedication to his family and community. Jim Grossman grew up in the heart of Sun Valley, Idaho, surrounded by the majestic mountains and rivers that would later become the backdrop for his greatest adventures. From a young age, he was drawn to the outdoors, spending countless hours exploring rough lands and honing his skills as a kayaker at the same time. As he grew older, Grossman's love for kayaking only deepened, and he soon earned a reputation as one of the best paddlers in the region. His skill and expertise were unmatched, and he often pushed the limits of what was thought possible on the river. But Grossman was more than just a kayaker. He was also a devoted husband and father. He had been married to his wife Shannon for over 3 decades, and together they had raised 2 children, Bowie and Saba. Family was always at the center of Grossman's life, and he cherished every moment he spent with his loved ones. On May 30th, 2022, Grossman set out with his son Bowie and fellow paddler Henry Chirp for what was supposed to be another exhilarating run down the South Fork of the Salmon River. The river, flowing at around 2,500 cubic feet per second, was challenging even for experienced kayakers like Grossman, but he thrived on such challenges, his skill and confidence unmatched as he navigated the dangerous waters. As they approached Greyhound Rapid, one of the toughest stretches of the river, Grossman made a split-second decision to veer left, attempting to avoid a massive hole in the rapid. It was a move that would prove fatal. Caught in the powerful hydraulic, Grossman was unable to escape despite his expert-level skills and personal flotation device he wore. He was recirculated, tossed about like a rag doll in the relentless grip of the river's fury. Meanwhile, the International Emergency Response Coordination Center received an SOS call from a Garmin InReach device, alerting them to the tragedy unfolding on the river. The Idaho County Sheriff's Office was notified, and a frantic rescue operation was launched. 2 Bear Air, a Northwest search and rescue company, was called in to help. Their helicopter navigated the terrain to reach the inaccessible area near Fall Creek. But by the time the rescuers reached Grossman, it was too late. His lifeless body was found near Fall Creek, the victim of drowning in the unforgiving waters he had once conquered with ease. The news of his unexpected passing shocked the tight-knit community of paddlers and outdoor enthusiasts who had known and admired Grossman for his incredible talent and larger-than-life personality. In the aftermath of the tragedy, theories circulated about what had led to Grossman's death. Some speculated that the high water levels and turbulent conditions had caught him off guard, despite his years of experience on the river. Others pointed out the inherent risks of extreme sports like whitewater kayaking, where the line between thrill and danger is often razor thin. Travis Valenti was a man who lived life to the fullest. Born and raised in Massapequa, New York, Travis grew up surrounded by the hustle and bustle of suburban life. From a young age, he had a love for the outdoors, often spending weekends exploring the nearby parks and trails with his family. As he grew older, Travis's passion for adventure only intensified. He was an avid hiker, biker, and kayaker, always seeking out new experiences and challenges to conquer. His adventurous spirit led him to explore some of the most breathtaking landscapes across the country, from the rugged peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the serene shores of the Pacific coast. But despite his love for adventure, Travis was also a deeply compassionate and caring individual. He had a knack for making friends wherever he went, thanks to his relaxed nature and infectious smile. He was the kind of person who would drop everything to lend a helping hand or offer a word of encouragement to those in need. It was this combination of adventurous spirit and compassionate heart that endeared Travis to those around him, including his fiancée, Marlene. The two had known each other for years, having grown up in the same neighborhood and attended the same schools. Their friendship blossomed into something more over time, and before long, they found themselves planning a future together. Travis's proposal to Marlene had been a moment of pure joy and excitement. He surprised her with a trip to Seattle, where he proposed against the backdrop of the city's iconic skyline. The moment was captured in a photograph that would become a cherished memento of their love and commitment to each other. But just 2 days after their engagement, tragedy struck in the most unexpected way. On June 9, 2023, Travis and Marlene set out for a kayaking adventure on Lake Crescent in Olympic National Park. The day started out like any other, with the couple eagerly anticipating the chance to explore the waters of the lake together. However, their simple day took a dark turn when Travis's kayak began to take on water. Despite his best efforts to keep it afloat, it soon became clear that they were in trouble. With a sinking feeling of dread, Travis made the difficult decision to abandon the kayak and enter the frigid waters below. Marlene watched in horror as her beloved struggled against the cold and the currents. Desperation gripped her as she attempted to rescue him, but fate had other plans. Her own kayak overturned, sending her plunging into the icy waters alongside Travis. As they fought against the cold and the currents, Travis made a selfless decision to push Marlene to safety, ensuring that she could reach the shore. But as she swam towards safety, Travis disappeared beneath the surface, swallowed by the unforgiving waters. Back on shore, bystanders and resort staff sprang into action, their efforts to locate Travis fueled by urgency and dread. Despite their best efforts, however, the vastness of Lake Crescent posed a challenge to their search and rescue mission. With each passing moment, the odds of finding Travis alive grew slimmer, until finally all hope was extinguished. In the days and weeks that followed, Travis's family and friends grappled with disbelief and despair. They struggled to come to terms with the sudden and senseless loss of a beloved son, brother, and friend. And for Marlene, losing the love of her life couldn't get any more painful, as she also struggled with the loss of her soon-to-be husband. All of their plans and efforts to secure a future together had been erased by just one unfortunate incident. The pain of his absence was a wound that would never fully heal. What if Travis had worn a life jacket that fateful day? What if they had chosen a different destination for their outing? These haunting questions lingered in the air, but amidst the pain and sorrow, Travis's memory would endure, and he would always be known as someone who is friendly, loving, and selfless by his family, friends, and his beloved Marlene. In the end, Travis's body was recovered from the lake on June 21, 2023, bringing closure to the tragic ordeal. His death served as a sign of the dangers that come hidden beneath the surface of even the most peaceful and simple landscapes, leaving his loved ones to grapple with the painful reality of his loss. On a crisp November morning in 2018, Britta Waters, a 36-year-old kayaker from Baldoyle, Dublin, woke up with excitement coursing through her veins. It was a day she had been eagerly anticipating, a day filled with adventure and adrenaline as she planned to explore the scenic waters of the Rowdy River in Kilgarvan, Kerry. Britta was no stranger to the thrill of kayaking. It was a passion that had ignited her spirit from a young age. Born and raised in Baldoyle, a coastal suburb of Dublin, Britta had always felt drawn to the water. As a child, she spent countless hours exploring the rocky shores of the Irish Sea, her curiosity leading her to discover the beauty and majesty of Ireland's coastline. It was during these formative years that Britta developed a deep appreciation for nature and a keen sense of adventure that would shape her future endeavors. As she grew older, Britta's love for the water only intensified. She became an active member of the Lear Canoe Club, where she honed her skills as a kayaker and forged lifelong friendships with fellow water sports enthusiasts. Her weekends were spent navigating the rivers and lakes of Ireland, each paddle stroke bringing her closer to the heart of the country she loved. But it wasn't just the thrill of adventure that drew Britta to kayaking. It was the sense of fellowship and community that she found among her fellow paddlers. Whether she was navigating challenging rapids or simply enjoying a leisurely paddle along calm waters, Britta cherished every moment spent on the river with her friends by her side. As the day of the expedition approached, Britta's excitement reached a fever pitch. She eagerly prepared her gear, checking and double-checking to ensure everything was in order for the journey ahead. Little did she know, this would be a day that would change her life forever. On the morning of November 4th, Britta and 4 companions set out for the Rowdy River, their kayaks slicing through the water with ease as they ventured deeper into the Kerry countryside. The sun shone brightly overhead as they paddled downstream, their laughter mingling with the gentle rush of the river. But as they navigated the twists and turns of the Rowdy, disaster struck. In a moment of confusion, Britta's kayak collided with an underwater obstacle, sending her tumbling into the frigid waters below. Despite her best efforts to right herself, she found herself trapped beneath the surface, her lungs burning for air as the current threatened to pull her under. Frantically, her companions rushed to her aid, their hands reaching out in desperation as they struggled to free her from the clutches of the river. But the water was relentless, its icy grip tightening around Britta's body with each passing second. With no means of communication readily available, they were left with no choice but to seek help from the nearby road, hoping against hope that help would arrive in time. As one of the group members sprinted towards civilization, the others remained by Britta's side, their hearts heavy with fear and uncertainty. Minutes stretched into hours as they waited for the sound of approaching sirens, their minds consumed by thoughts of what could have been done differently. If only they had been better prepared. If only they had carried personal locator beacons, as recommended by the authorities. But now, it was too late for regrets. Finally, the sound of approaching sirens shattered the silence, signaling the arrival of emergency services. With renewed hope, the group watched as rescue workers descended upon the scene, their expertise and determination offering a glimmer of hope. But as the hours passed and the rescue efforts continued, it became increasingly clear that Britta's fate had already been sealed. Despite their best efforts, the river refused to relinquish its grip on her, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. In the aftermath of the tragedy, tributes poured in from friends, family, and fellow kayakers, all mourning the loss of a beloved member of their community. Her adventurous spirit and zest for life would be sorely missed, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. As news of Britta's tragic death spread, questions lingered in the minds of all who knew her. What if they had been better equipped to handle the challenges of the river? What if they had heeded the warnings and carried the necessary safety equipment? But in the end, there were no easy answers, only the harsh reality of a life lost too soon. In the quiet town of Eagle, Idaho, James Laughlin lived a life marked by adventure and a deep appreciation for the great outdoors. Born and raised in Idaho, Laughlin spent his early years surrounded by the beauty of the Rocky Mountains, fostering a love for exploration that would shape his destiny. From a young age, Laughlin felt a profound connection to nature, finding solace and inspiration amidst the towering peaks and winding rivers that crisscrossed the Idaho landscape. As he grew older, his passion for adventure only intensified, driving him to seek out new challenges and experiences at every opportunity. In his youth, Laughlin's adventurous spirit led him to pursue a variety of outdoor activities, from hiking and camping to skiing and kayaking. He reveled in the freedom of the open wilderness, finding joy and fulfillment in the simple pleasures of life lived close to nature. As the years passed, Laughlin's love for the outdoors remained a central aspect of his identity, guiding his choices and shaping his worldview. In his 60s, retired from a long and fulfilling career, Laughlin found himself drawn back to the rivers and mountains of his youth, eager to rediscover the sense of wonder and excitement that had fueled his dreams for so long. It was against this backdrop of lifelong passion and boundless enthusiasm that Laughlin set out on that tragic October day, his heart brimming with anticipation and excitement. Little did he know, it would be his final journey, a tragic end to a life lived with courage and determination. As Laughlin and his companion went on their kayaking trip along the Boise River, they were blissfully unaware of the dangers that were hidden beneath the surface. The river, normally a source of relaxation and recreation, had been transformed into a treacherous obstacle course by the forces of nature. As they navigated the winding waterway, laughter filled the air, mingling with the sound of rushing water as they reveled in the joy of the moment. But their carefree journey would soon take a dark turn, as fate intervened with a cruel and unforgiving hand. Without warning, disaster struck. A fallen tree, concealed beneath the surface, rose up to meet them, its gnarled branches reaching out. In an instant, their kayaks overturned, hurling Laughlin into the icy embrace of the river below. Desperate to free himself from the tangled mass of branches and debris that ensnared him, Laughlin fought against the relentless current with all his strength, but he was no match for the water's currents. As his companions looked on in horror, helpless to intervene, Laughlin's efforts were in vain, his energy spent in a futile struggle against the forces of nature. With each passing moment, his strength ebbed away, leaving him at the mercy of the merciless river that threatened to claim his life. Meanwhile, the echoes of distress reached the ears of the local authorities, sparking a frantic race against time to rescue Laughlin from his watery prison. Responders from the Ada County Sheriff's Office sprang into action, their hearts heavy with the weight of the task before them. Arriving at the scene, they were met with a scene of chaos and despair. As Laughlin's companion frantically relayed the details of the accident, tinged with fear and desperation. Determined to save Laughlin from his fate, the responders worked tirelessly to free him from the grip of the river that held him captive. But despite their best efforts, the force of the water proved too powerful to overcome, thwarting every attempt to reach Laughlin before it was too late. Hours stretched into eternity as the rescue operation unfolded, and each passing moment bringing them closer to the grim reality of Laughlin's fate. Finally, the responders succeeded in clearing away the tangled vegetation that ensnared him, revealing his lifeless form beneath the surface. As they pulled Laughlin from the river and laid him to rest on the riverbank, a profound sense of loss hung heavy in the air. In the wake of the tragedy, questions lingered in the minds of onlookers, their thoughts consumed by the what-ifs that haunted the air. Carol Madrew, a 50-year-old registered nurse, had dedicated her life to caring for others. Born and raised in the coastal town of Hyannis, Massachusetts, Carol was drawn to the healing profession from a young age. With a gentle demeanor and a compassionate heart, she found fulfillment in tending to the wounds of those in need. After completing her nursing education, Carol joined the Visiting Nurse Association of Cape Cod, where she quickly earned a reputation as a skilled wound care specialist. Her colleagues admired her dedication and expertise, and her patients found peace and healing in her comforting presence. Whether she was treating a minor scrape or a more serious injury, Carol approached each case with the same level of care and attention to detail. Outside of work, Carol's adventurous spirit led her to explore the natural beauty of her surroundings. She found peace in the rhythm of the ocean waves and the salty breeze that swept across the coastline. Kayaking became her favorite pastime, a way to escape the stresses of everyday life and reconnect with the world around her. It was on one such kayaking trip that tragedy unexpectedly happened. On May 22, 2020, Carol set out with her friend, Mark Olivier Zarnecki, for what was meant to be a leisurely paddle along the coast of Cape Cod. Mark Olivier, a 51-year-old visitor from France, had been staying with Carol and her husband James during his visit to the United States. The two friends launched their kayak into the calm waters of Provincetown Harbor, their laughter mingling with the sound of seagulls overhead. As they paddled along the shoreline, Carol's worries melted away, replaced by a sense of freedom and exhilaration. But as the afternoon wore on and the sun began to sink toward the horizon, the peaceful scene took a dark turn. Without warning, a sudden gust of wind caught the kayak off balance, sending Carol and Mark tumbling into the frigid waters below. Struggling to stay afloat, Carol clung to the overturned kayak as the waves crashed over her head. Desperate for help, she called out to Mark, but he was nowhere to be seen. Panic surged through her veins as she realized the gravity of their situation. In a desperate bid for survival, Carol made the split-second decision to swim for shore. With every stroke, she fought against the relentless pull of the ocean, her muscles burning with exertion. But despite her efforts to save herself, the currents proved too strong, dragging her beneath the surface before she could reach safety. Hours passed, and as darkness descended over the coastline, Carol's husband James grew increasingly concerned for her safety. When she failed to return by nightfall, he contacted the authorities, sparking a frantic search and rescue operation that would span the entire night. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, the search crews made a grim discovery. Carol's lifeless body was found washed up on the sandy shores of North Truro, her kayak abandoned nearby. Friends and colleagues were reeling with grief when they heard about Carol's unexpected passing. Memories of Carol's kindness and compassion flooded their minds, remembering the impact she had made on their lives. But amidst the sorrow, there lingered a sense of unanswered questions. What had caused the kayak to capsize? Where was Marc-Olivier Zarnecki, the friend who had set out with Carol on that ill-fated journey? Speculation ran rampant as theories emerged, each more haunting than the last. Some believed that rough waters or harsh weather had played a role in the tragedy, while others whispered of more sinister forces at play.